Energetics is very important, especially at the beginning of the school year. So the first week of school, it's okay actually. The first week of school, it's okay and even recommended to show up very chill and laid back. Especially if that's your personality, then just go for it. It's fine. Because at the end of the day, what you want to convey to the kids is that you are someone that they can trust. You are someone who's open-minded, who's welcoming to everyone, not just them, but also others, because they have friends that might be a little bit different. And then also, even if kids relate to you, like a certain student relates to you, they can see how you treat other kids. They can see how you relate. They can see your biases and your tendencies. And when you're a teacher, when you're a classroom teacher, and you go to teach, all of you is teaching. It's not just one aspect of you is teaching. All of you you carry it all in front of the classroom. So it's really important to gauge your energy. I mean, you have to show up physically, especially, for your classroom teacher, you have to show up in person to deliver a lesson. So that's very important. So, and people can see, students can see your energy. They can read your energy. They can feel it as well in the room. So if you're tired, it shows. They can feel it. If you are annoyed, don't think that you can hide this from students. You might mask it for a little bit, and if they know you enough and you're just having one bad day, you can get by with that. But if that's your everyday, it's gonna take away from your ability. It's gonna take away from your performance and from your ability to retain your students' attention, from your ability to pass on the knowledge. So people think teaching is easy. It's not easy. It's an art and it's a science. So it's really both, right? When you're in front of a classroom, when you go to work in front of children, you're going to teach children, and you have to show up in person to do that. You need to be very mindful of how you show up. Energetically, more importantly, you need to be ready to deliver the lesson. You could have the most fabulous lesson. If your energy is out of whack, you're not going to deliver well. If your energy is all over the place, you can't receive the student. You can't even receive them, much less guide them, much less direct them, much less correct them. You can't do any of those things because your energy is all over the place. So be very careful about how you show up to the classroom. You can't just show up wishy-washy. You can't show up, with one hour, 2 hours of sleep. Have people done it? Yes, we've done it. Is it recommended? No, it's not. You're going to lose kids. Okay? So that being said, the first week of school, be relaxed. Just be relaxed. Go in, have a plan, of course. Have a plan to get to know them. That's the plan. Your main focus for the beginning of the school year is to get to know kids. Okay? And even if these are students that you've had before, don't assume that you know. Don't assume that you know everything about them. Have this mindset of, I'm here to learn. I'm here to get to know you. I'm here to see what you've been up to, how you think, where you are now. Right? Don't just have this assumption that, I know the kids already. No. Even if you had had them before, even if you've had them in the past, you can pick up from there. That's okay. You can pick up from there as a catch up. Hey, how was your summer? But beyond that, because everybody's asking how was your summer. Beyond that, listen to them. What are they talking about? What are they expressing curiosity about? What are they saying that they're into these days, right? They might still be into the same TV shows and the same books and things like that, although kids don't really read these things, but they might still be into the same programs and activities that they were in maybe last year or the year prior. Or not. Be open to the fact that they may have changed. And they should change. They're kids. Right? They're expected to grow and evolve. They're expected to become a new person. Right? Especially at that young age. Change is pretty much on a daily. You can enter this today, enter that tomorrow. So you have to be ready to keep up with that. Okay? And your primary focus at the start of a school year is to learn students' names, get to know them, and learn their names. You're not going to be able to go anywhere without knowing who they are, starting with names, of course. After the first week, then you can shift gears a little bit. That's why we say energetics is the core. It's the key ingredient at the start of the new school year. You can have all the decor in the classroom, all the decor in the world. Decoration is not going to hold a classroom. Sorry. It's nice. It's great to look at. But you can go to a gallery and just look at decorations. That's what you're looking for. But a classroom is so much more than that. Anyone can throw up a decoration. Anyone. But you have to have a space where students can land. You have to have a space where students are comfortable, first of all, being vulnerable, learning. Although they are young. So vulnerability comes pretty easily. I mean, it comes easier to children than adults. They're more malleable. They're more impressionable, right? But that doesn't mean they don't have they're not dealing with certain emotions and certain tendencies, and especially kids these days, they don't have the social skills that students of the past have had in the last 5-10 years. Kids are not skilled socially. They don't have relationship skills. They don't have social skills. They don't know how to navigate social dynamics. Not as well as they did in the past anyway. Not as well as what is expected of them at a certain age, as they grow older. Right? Kids are significantly lacking. This day and age, 2025, kids are significantly lacking in social skills, in self-regulation. Why? Because many of them have not had that an environment. They haven't grown up in an environment that fosters such skills. Okay, so oftentimes as a teacher, you're the one teaching those. It might not be directly related to your content area. But in the process of teaching the content, you're teaching them basic human interactive survival social skills, you name it. You're teaching those. Okay, and the process starts with you. That's what makes teaching so complex. When you have a kid, not only do you show up, when you show up, it's all of you that show up. All of your stuff. Your emotions, your energy, your knowledge. Okay? If you're sick that day, it shows like all of you shows up, but also all of you needs to be able to receive all of whatever that student presents with that day. And in an average classroom, you have 25 of them. In an average classroom, you have 25 students. Okay. Small class, maybe let's say medium-sized class, 15. Right? 15 to 20, let's say. So you need to be able to receive. You have to have room. You have to have capacity within yourself to receive the kid. Cater to their needs. Meet their needs. Address whatever needs to be addressed. Solve what needs to be solved in order to reach the learner. If that makes sense. There's so many barriers and things that you have to be overcome before you can even tackle student engagement. You can't even deal with the engagement piece yet if you're not tuned in to the kid. Okay, so don't rush this process. The back to school process, that's not something to be rushed. Put a timeline on it. It can't take forever, but it needs to be intentional. It needs to be deliberate. It needs to be calculated. Okay. Because you're setting the foundation for learning. You're creating an atmosphere where kids are predisposed to receive knowledge from you. And that takes work. It's not something that happens in the vacuum. If you plow through it, you're going to regret it because you might make it through the first couple weeks. You might be able to make it through the first couple weeks, but it's not going to last. Before long, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle regardless. Every teacher struggles. So at some point in the year, kids start to spiral, they start to fall apart. But what saves you is how much work did you put in the forefront? How much work did you put in at the beginning of the year? As far as setting the foundation, setting the groundwork. Now, after the first week of school you want to show that side of you that's relaxed, the side of you that's warm, the side of you that's welcoming, the side of you where students can land. Okay, basically show that just you're human. Okay, you're here, you're pleasant, you're fun. If you don't have to put on a comedy skit for them, if that's not your personality, but just show that you are a good person to be around and to be with and to learn from. And kids will open up, especially when they're young. They'll open up. They have no filter. Okay. Now, after that initial week, you can shift gears and again intentionally and start outlining rules and expectations of the classroom. That's a different energy. It's more of a serious tone where basically you're talking business now. We're not talking fluff anymore. We're not talking, shalala kumbaya. No. You come in, this is what's expected of you, this is how the class is run. Students need to feel and experience the energy shift between the first week where it was just meet and greet and say hi and catch up. They need to feel a drastic change in your tone, and they can feel that, right? Because by that point you will have established this environment of calm and care. But when it comes to that second week, when you're laying down the foundation of the class, you're talking about rules and expectation, that's a different tone, and you need to show up with that tone. The first week of school, including the welcome week, like the 2 days before the long weekend and things like that, we include that. We count that into the first week, the welcome week and the meet and greet. Once that's done and kids are comfortable with you and you feel like you're part of course you're going to still get to know each other as the year progresses, but at least the initial impression has been made of you're safe here, and that's what you're trying to establish. You're safe and you're welcome here, and I'm here for you, basically. That's what those types of messages have been communicated or are communicated at the beginning of the year within the first 5 to 7 days of school. Then, and only then, you've learned the names, you're more comfortable. You don't have to remember every single one, but you're more or less comfortable with the names. The majority of students are pretty much remembered. Okay? Then you can shift gears into, you know what, guys? This is what's expected of you. And this is what we expect of each other in this classroom. And make sure that the tone is firm. It has to have a tone of firm and non-negotiables. Okay? And we'll get into that in greater detail when the time comes. Right now, we're still trying to wrap up the first week of school, where it's just meet and greet and say hello. Still learning about students getting to